Thank you so much for joining us today for the Pastor's Potluck podcast. Here on the Pastor's Potluck, it's similar to a normal potluck where you might get something that you want and there may be something that you just want to pass up altogether. And that's okay. There's something here for everybody. Our goal here is to encourage you and maybe in the process entertain you. If you're ready, let's dig in. Well, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Pastor's Potluck podcast. We are joined by Scott and Megan, the Behas, as they are known on the street. Actually, their home address street. Here goes the Behas. What's up?
As we're known on the street.
It's your street name.
Just another day, man.
You know, it's weird whenever you are recognized by your last name instead of like any other nickname. Like the other day, somebody came up to me here at church and they're like, and they're 20 maybe. And they're like, Mr. Bodker. And I'm like, what? You shut your mouth right now.
Yeah, that's my father's
You
name.
don't call me that.
No Mr. or Mrs. in front of that. Please.
Like, I'm not trying to like expedite this aging process. Like,
No.
it's
Not
just
in that way, anyway.
No. I feel like I need like some kind of like PBS television show. Like, hey, welcome to Mr. Bodker's show. Like, this just doesn't work. But happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Scott's
Actually,
it's your favorite time of the year.
Happy Black
yeah.
Friday, because this is airing on Friday.
We're gonna get to that. Don't worry. Don't jump the gun. Look, it's on there.
But we're saying happy Thanksgiving yesterday, happy Black Friday today.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is some of my favorite time of the year. It's funny because it didn't used to be.
Yeah.
Before I got saved and before I had like my own family, I did not like the holidays very much.
Yeah.
At all. And now it is one of my favorite times of the year. So.
Why is that? If you don't mind me asking.
I didn't like Christmas before I got saved because I just thought, as someone that was raised in the church, I thought, well, this seems to be about a lot of stuff other than Jesus.
Yeah.
And so it was just one of those arrogant young people things like, oh, look at you Christians, not taking Christmas seriously for what it should be about. I probably didn't really have that issue with it. I was probably just an arrogant, like, turd.
Yeah.
But I just didn't like it. Like, it was just, I didn't like the Christmas music. I like getting gifts. Who doesn't, right? But, like, family functions and all that. I was a different person before I met Jesus, before I had a wife and kids. But now, I won't do it before Thanksgiving, but I will listen to Christmas music pretty much nonstop after Thanksgiving until the day of Christmas, and then I'm done. If you listen after December 25th, that's just weird. But like I'll go hard in the paint those couple of weeks on the music. I don't like to help decorate. That's just not my thing. So Megan normally takes care of all the decorations. I love to shop for Christmas gifts now. I like going to all the parties, even though I'm not a social person. But like if you got a Christmas party, invite me. I will come. Yeah, I love it.
What was on the agenda for Thanksgiving? Like what did y'all have planned?
Just one family, right? Yeah. We used to have to do both of our families because our families all live really close because we're all from here. But the last couple of years we've been separating to where my family does one day and her family does a different day. So that's this year. So just my family yesterday for lunch, and tonight, right? Yep, tonight with her family. Which is nice because it's hard to take down 2 Thanksgiving meals in a day.
You can't really appreciate what's been made.
No, because I'd always like kind of shortchange at lunch to try to make room for dinner, but I like my lunch, so and then if you go overboard at lunch, then you can't enjoy. And both of our families are really, really good cooks. So like Thanksgiving and Christmas meals and all that are all always just like balling. So
yeah, you want to. It's like you typically want to eat it like fresh. But then you've got another meal coming, and so. It like microwave is great, like it's one of the greatest inventions ever, but like microwaving stuff that's been sitting out all day already, waiting for you to eat it at dinner.
What we would previously do is we would do dinner at her parents' house, and so they wouldn't eat until we got there at dinner time. So it would be all fresh in dinner, but still, it's just too much food.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
In one day, it was just a lot. And so now you get to, like, look forward to 2 amazing meals, 2 straight days instead of just one day.
I think that was part of it, but also just being able to spend time exclusively with each family.
Yeah.
And not having to separate, like, okay, well, we're going to be here for 2 hours, and then we're going to be here for 2 hours because we don't want to spend all day away from our house.
Yeah. Like you tend to feel bad by leaving like one family to go see another. And I can feel that or sense that kind of like arguing or wrestling with myself. Like, oh man, like this side of my family is going to hate me because I'm going over here and doing this. So, I mean, that's good that it's actually 2 days.
Yeah, it didn't used to be, so it's getting there. Because it's for us doing ministry in our hometown where our families are at, there's way, way, way more benefits. But there's those challenges where, some of y'all that are doing ministry away from home, you don't have to always mess with the family stuff, which has its pros and cons as well.
Yeah.
So this is like one of those things that was always like, man, it's just a lot, right? And now it's not that, so we get to fully appreciate both family Thanksgivings, and it's awesome.
Yeah, Erica almost, if the cost of flying wasn't so expensive, she at the beginning of this week she was like, I almost bought you a plane ticket so you can go and spend Thanksgiving with your family, but it was like $900.
Oh man!
Wow,
for one person round trip from Charleston to San Antonio. And I said, I'm glad that you didn't do it, but like it's like these moments. Like I was talking to my mom last week. So whenever you listened to the podcast towards the end of it, I had a conversation about we talked with Jess and one of her biggest fears. And then I shared what one of my biggest fears is that just because I live so far away from my family, I only get to see them. Like say my dad turned 68, he turned 68 this year. So if he lives to be 80 and I only see my parents 2 times a year, I only get to see my dad 20 more times, 20 something more times, 24 more times. And so it's like in those moments where I'm like, okay, I just want to take any kind of opportunity that I can go see them. But at the same time, family drama.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't, like what we've learned is it doesn't matter, like we do ministry here in our hometown, and then we've also done ministry for a long time with people whose families aren't here. Yeah. And there's the good, bad, and the ugly for every possible situation that you can imagine when it comes to families, especially holiday stuff,
Just tell your family to move 100 miles away, far enough to where I'm not in your nonsense, but close enough to where I could just drive really easy to go see you. Yeah. whenever I need my mom and my dad fix.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, our families are real chill though, but it's still family. But it's I like the rhythm that we have now for Thanksgiving, mainly because I want to enjoy the meals. Yeah. And not just try to overstack, Mainly. I love my family too, but I'm just saying having 2 Thanksgivings in one day for 10 years, it was hard, especially because we go hard on Black Friday too. Yeah. And so you can't do that if you've been. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, if you're in charge of bringing one item for Thanksgiving, what is your go-to item that you're going to bring?
Well, Megan
it may be different for both of y'all.
Megan makes all the food, so I don't ever get a say in anything. Oh, wow. Megan wants to make whatever the most expensive thing is that she could bring. No lie, one year she was in charge of the turkeys for both of those Thanksgivings, and the brine that the turkey sits in for a day, for each turkey costs $60. Just the brine.
Why? What did you put in the brine that made it $60?
It was a whiskey maple turkey, and so it's not just a salt brine. You have to boil this concentrated. Yeah. And it had we used bottom shelf whiskey, so that wasn't crazy expensive.
But it's still
but
expensive.
It had all kinds
Yeah.
of other things in it.
It's more expensive than water.
And salt.
Yeah.
Well, I was about to say, what in the good
But it
housekeeping
had-
is going
like
on?
literally, it was like $60 per
But
turkey
let's
to brine
think
this thing.
back.
Now,
This
it was an
the
incredible
best
turkey. Second best.
No. What was the first best?
When Lloyd Nelson deep fried a turkey for our
that
first
was a
Friendsgiving.
different.
No.
That was a different event.
No, you
This
said
is family
best
Thanksgiving.
turkey
Best
ever
turkey.
was Lloyd Nelson. I mean, we did it out on the church parking lot. He deep fried a turkey. It was the best turkey because I don't like turkey. Like if I showed up at Thanksgiving, they're like, "Oh, we didn't do turkey this year." I wouldn't care at all. I'm there for the sides.
Yeah.
Fully. Now this $60 brined turkey was good.
100% worth it.
Was it?
Worth
I mean,
yes.
$80 after you put the price of the meat into it. $80 good? I don't know.
It was amazing.
I don't know about that, but it was good, like for what it was. Now it did make some great gravy.
Oh man.
Okay.
The gravy was great. So she likes to make the turkeys, but then she also likes to go overboard on it. For me, if I had to bring something, I would just want to make please make sure there's mashed potatoes and gravy at the house.
This year,
Because if there's not, I'm not going to be happy.
And no blue cheese. Just
Nope.
for anybody listening.
oh stop.
No blue cheese.
This year I made noodles, I made noodles for my family's Thanksgiving, which is a Norris, which is my mom's family. They always make noodles. It's homemade
It's
noodles
amazing.
that are like small mini versions of dumplings.
Yeah.
And so I'm making those this year. You can't fancify those, and they're very cheap to make. So I'm making.
Is
that
it
for
like
the turkey?
Like okay, so is it like dumplings where you just take a biscuit and just scoop off a little thing,
No.
or do you
They
actually
make them
make
from scratch.
They're egg
like
noodles.
egg and double O flour?
Egg,
Mm-hmm.
flour, water. And you just make
they
the
make 'em.
noodles, roll them out.
They're fantastic too.
Yeah.
They really are. They have them at every single family event. So like when we go to her grandma's for Easter, they're gonna be noodles. When we go for 4th of July, there's gonna be noodles. Like every time we get
There's
together,
not actually noodles for the 4th of July.
there's
but
always noodles. I don't remember a family meal that there's not noodles. There'll definitely be noodles at Christmas. Looking forward to that already.
Yeah.
These noodles are fantastic
very
because yes, you put the gravy, but then you also put the chicken because it's got chicken in it too. You put the chicken and noodles on top of your mashed potatoes. Throw corn on there too.
Oh yeah, my grandma
It's-
makes funeral corn
Dude,
I don't know why she calls it that. Other than
because she makes
takes
it
to
for
fu-
funeral dinners.
She takes it to funerals.
I know. I got mad at somebody the other day. We had a funeral, I guess a couple months back now, and someone brought this stinking amazing cake, and they called it funeral cake. And I was like, "Why are you calling this funeral cake?" And she was like, "I don't know. It's what I bring to funerals." I said, "Well, you got to change the name of this because this
'Cause
cake
it'll knock
is
you dead."
stinking." No, it was delicious, and I felt so much life-giving power
That's so
by
funny.
eating this cake. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is the total opposite of funeral of a
Yeah.
funeral cake. And of course, the family members sitting there, they're just like, "Jared, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well, the
welcome to my
funeral
mind.
corn is the same way.
Well,
I mean,
she-
corn's good, but her grandma's corn is like next
She
level.
she gets it from the farm and then chucks it and slices it off the cob
Yeah,
and
it's awesome.
boils it in milk and all it. Like it's
She does it right. It's real
All right.
good.
really good.
So bring me some funeral corn.
Okay.
So,
I'm curious about the noodles now, because I'm all
Oh,
about
the noodles are
anything
so
that-
good.
like-
Noodles are fire.
scratch. I don't like to put everything together like you were mentioning though.
But this is the
but you got
best
to.
combination.
Yeah, but I like to enjoy everything like by itself. It's one of the
Okay.
reasons why I don't like sweet and salty stuff together. Like whenever they do like salted caramel or something, or like people like to take like their sausage, their breakfast sausage, and put syrup on it. I don't like to
Ew,
do that.
ew,
No,
not
but
that.
you're all about that, right?
Yeah, both of those are fantastic.
Yeah, I don't want to do any of those. Any of those.
It worries me for you.
Well, yeah, I'm borderline insane. I keep everything nice and tidy, and like if they made adult plates like they do like the kids plates where they just have like the
Separate
little
everything.
pockets for everything, that would be.
Do you at least like gravy on the potatoes?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's savory and
Well, we
savory.
Well, I was just saying he doesn't like his food to touch. I wanted to make sure he didn't have to have a separate
we got
gravy
another
boat.
Jasmine Payne.
No,
on
no,
our
no. I
hands.
don't take like my potatoes and then dip it in the gravy. Like take a scoop of potatoes and then dip it in the gravy. I'm not
You're
psychopath.
not that psycho.
But I tend to eat a lot of rice too. So I would much rather eat rice and gravy than potatoes and gravy.
That is very concerning.
Yeah,
It's not whenever you grow up in Louisiana and every single meal has rice.
Then I understand.
On Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Trust me, I understand how weird it is because like whenever Erica and I first got together, like the first holiday
said,
that we
wow.
had was Thanksgiving, and so we went over to her mom's house and they cooked like this whole thing, like this ginormous spread, like they had probably 5 or 6 like folding tables, like just every kind of food. And Erica's mom goes, "Is there anything that Jared wants?" And Erica goes, "You just have to have rice. Like it doesn't matter anything else. Just make sure you got white steamed rice." And then what he does is he puts the gravy on top of the rice, and it's just what it is, bruh. It's just what it is. And I eat about 5 pounds of this stuff. It's just part of life. It's just rice is life.
No,
It is with grilled chicken and guacamole, but not with gravy.
no, it's steamed white rice. It's not
just
like
saying,
Mexican rice.
I wouldn't eat it.
Which I don't like
with
Mexican rice that
gravy.
much either.
Yeah.
This is not the
I just don't
episode
like
where
rice,
everything you
really.
hate.
I know, we're not going back to the things I don't, but I don't like rice. It just reminds me of maggots.
Yeah. Well,
I just gotta
if
come
you
out
look
and
at
say
it
that.
as a grain instead of like a little small insect, then
Well,
you'll
that's
be
what it
fine.
looks like.
Moving on.
Tootsie Rolls. Do you like Tootsie Rolls?
No.
Okay.
Who does?
Again.
Okay, I was about to say we
Don't-
can all go
Do
what that
not
looks like.
Ask him
No,
anything
Tootsie
else.
Rolls? Oh my goodness. I don't know anyone that likes
You are
those
no
other than
longer
her
allowed
grandma.
to speak.
Yeah.
Your grandma likes Tootsie Rolls,
She
right?
does.
Yeah.
All right, Megan, what's your go-to dessert?
Oh, definitely pumpkin pie. For Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
yeah, pumpkin pie.
Well, I mean, we're not 4th of July.
Yeah, well, I'm just like go-to dessert, cheesecake. But for Thanksgiving, pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie.
Yep.
Scott, what about you?
No, I don't want to see pumpkin anywhere on any holiday.
What's your
ever.
dessert?
What is your dessert?
So my favorite dessert as of late, the last couple of years, has been a chocolate meringue pie.
Oh yeah.
So the first year we did this, because it's my favorite dessert ever. This is a long story, going all the way back to when I was a kid. We used to go to the Western Sizzlin' after church.
Yeah.
When we lived, I think in Virginia. I think that's where they had Western Sizzlin'. You ever had? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's a Western Sizzler.
No, it's Sizzlin'. The Sizzler is a Western. It's out west. Western Sizzlin' is a different restaurant.
Well, okay, yeah, no, I've never heard of that then.
Yeah, so Western Sizzlin', we would go there after church, and they had this chocolate pie, had this huge meringue on it. It was always in a flake pastry crust
Yeah.
because graham cracker crust is for kids. Get rid of that mess. Never make a pie with graham cracker crust. And if you do, don't bring it to me. It's got to be the regular pie crust. I don't even care if it's frozen. Just don't bring me graham cracker pie. So I've always liked that pie ever since the Western Sizzlin'. Never find people that make it. Because some places they'll make the chocolate pie with meringue and then mess it up with graham cracker crust. Some places will do the chocolate pie on the right crust, but then do whipped cream on top of it instead of do the hard work and make meringue.
Yeah.
And so it's just hard to find the one that I want. I want flake pastry crust, chocolate with meringue, like
Chocolate
legit
custard.
chocolate custard with meringue. That's what I want.
I should have timed
So
him
my
to see
mom-
how long this takes.
I told you it was going to be a long story. My mom,
That's all right.
I told her that's what I wanted because I don't like pumpkin pie. I think that I'm on the record, right? I don't like pumpkin pie at all
Yes.
for any reason.
You don't like anything pumpkin.
So most Thanksgivings when that's the big dessert, I would have
Apple pie.
apple pie or something that's not even really Thanksgiving appropriate. So I just asked my mom finally, can I get one of those pies? She said, yeah, I'll see if I can find somewhere that does it. Spring Hill Bakery around here does make that pie. I love Spring Hill. They don't make that pie good, though. They don't make it to my liking.
Yeah.
Right?
Shocker.
I just, I know. So I didn't like it. We did that. We did Spring Hill for, now, give me Spring Hill hot dogs all day long.
Yeah.
With chocolate, without chocolate, I don't care. Give me all the other stuff I've ever had at Spring Hill is amazing. I did not like their chocolate pie. So we
You know
don't
it's
do
a
it no more.
cannoli, right?
What?
The
That's
li-
not a
They're hot
cannoli.
dogs?
Those are
The little hot dogs
They're
is a cannoli.
disgusting is
no,
what they
those
are.
are not cannoli. Those are completely different.
It's cannoli.
No, cannoli is like
Continue
hard
your story.
pastry.
What do you
Continue
think?
your
That's what the
pie
hot dogs
story.
are.
No, that's soft donuts.
Oh yeah, that's right. I
Yeah.
was thinking of something else.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's like a
long
donut.
story short, we did that for 1 year. Now my mom took it upon herself to learn how to make this pie
Yeah.
to my liking, and she kills it.
Yeah.
It's like the greatest pie ever. Like I don't even know if she'd ever made meringue before. Like 3 years ago when she started doing this for me,
Yeah.
and her chocolate custard pie with real pie crust is the highlight of my Thanksgiving now.
Really?
Like I could almost skip everything and just eat that pie. Like normally when we leave after lunch, half of that pie is gone. It's that good.
That's
long story. That's
a lot of pie.
Yeah, it is. That's how good it is. I love, like, she makes great meringue.
Yeah.
The little custard is always on point, and she knows better than to bring that graham cracker crust around here. So, like,
Having said all of that, chocolate
That's-
pie.
yeah, I told you it was gonna be a long story, but I'm just saying that there was a process to which, and that's just showing how amazing my mom is. Nothing could satisfy what I wanted for Thanksgiving dessert, so she just learned to make it, and she kills it. It's
Yeah.
so good.
So you do you not eat cheesecake because of graham
No,
cracker?
it's
No.
cold cheese.
It's
cream
yeah,
cheese.
cream cheese, which is disgusting. I'm not about cream cheese because it's cold cheese. I don't like cold cheese. I think we did this whole I don't
Yeah,
like
no, we
thing
did.
a couple weeks ago.
No,
And then it is on graham cracker crust, which is just now. If I go to Cheesecake Factory, the banana cream pie cheesecake, I'm down with that because it doesn't taste like cheesecake.
yeah.
And I mean, like, I'll eat a graham cracker crust. I'll just feel like I'm, it's the JV. Like,
Yeah. He'll feel like a second class
Cardinal
citizen
sin
for
or
eating.
something?
yeah, I just don't like it, man.
I like blueberry pie. I like the flaky crust, but I like the just take the pie crust, dump a can of processed jellied blueberries, put a layer on top, and then as soon as it comes out of the oven, give me some homemade vanilla ice cream. Put that on top. It's so good. Erica, she always brings this up because one year she made it from scratch, and I didn't eat it. Like I would just ate so much at mealtime that I just didn't even eat it. And
Aw.
yeah, I know. Yep. You want to talk about upsetting your spouse.
Yeah.
If she makes you something, it don't matter if you like it or not, you need to eat it.
Yeah.
Because I'll be 80 and in my deathbed,
Blue cheese mashed potatoes.
and she'll say, "Remember that one time whenever you didn't eat my blueberry pie?" She's gonna bring it up to the day I die. She'll bring it up at my funeral.
Well, that's what you get for having fruit pies.
Moving right along, Scott.
Seriously.
What's your favorite memory of Thanksgiving?
Gosh, the one that came to my mind, I can't even share. I
don't even think I remember.
it wouldn't be my favorite memory. It's just the one that I think about the most because it's just ridiculous. My favorite Thanksgiving memory, probably this chocolate pie I've been talking about.
It just trumps everything else.
It does. I don't know. I have like really, really terrible memory.
Yeah.
So like we always did Thanksgiving as a family growing up. So it wasn't like there wasn't stuff going on. There always was, but I don't know.
We always went over to my grandmother's house on my mom's side, and there would seem like 500 of us in this little tiny house. And it was like the one time a year that if you played your cards right, you can upset Paw really good. And I think it was just the commotion of like everything that was going on, and my grandparents were absolute saints. Like they just never missed service, like a Sunday service. They were always there. And they just loved everybody. They were so friendly. But one year my grandpa got visibly upset, and my grandmother tried to ask him if he needed help with something. And he kind of snapped at her, and it caught everybody off guard. And it was kind of like one of those, it caught the kids off guard. I don't know if any of the adults understood or if they were in the room or whatever, but it just kind of caught everybody off guard. And I just remember being like so shocked, like I couldn't help but laugh, you know? Mm-hmm. It just kind of caught you off guard. And so I just started laughing, like laughing. And then, I don't know, I guess it was one of those things where you just had to have been there and know the people. But it was just, you never saw my grandfather get mad at my grandmother. But one day he did. And I thought the second coming was right around the corner because, but
yeah, I think really for me, I appreciate the most recent Thanksgivings that we've had just because it's being a husband and a father. Those times are just really special. Like,
yeah.
For me, that's probably the highlight of my Thanksgiving are the ones that I've had while I've been a dad. You know, when I was a kid, we would always do stuff with family and things like that. But, like, it's different when you get to do stuff with your family. Like,
yeah, it's awesome, like, beginning to, like, implement, like, your own traditions, like, things that you do. You know, just sitting around before, like, the commotion and the busyness of that day and just taking a moment or two to sit there and ask your kids, you know, like, what are you thankful for? And what are you thankful for? And then they get to hear from mom and dad and what are we thankful for, and just creating those traditions and teaching them that, you know, even though this is an amazing holiday because we get to sit around and have some amazing food, but just to like start and build those traditions that they're going to carry on whenever they get married and have kids and do with their families as well. Just implementing those things has been awesome because they could be so easily be dropped, you know, whenever Eric and I started having kids. Like, we would just be like, okay, I don't want to do any of that. But, you know, we did that as well. You know, what are you thankful for? And just passing on those traditions, I think is super, super important. And just to not lose focus of the day and why we can take a moment just to be super grateful and appreciative of all that God has given us.
Yeah.
You know.
I'll tell you also, Linda McVeigh's stuffing is a really good Thanksgiving memory.
Yeah.
Linda, I mean, dude, her stuff, she makes everything good, but, like, her stuffing is like, and I feel like I might be the only one that appreciates it on this level because, like, every Thanksgiving I go nuts about it.
I don't appreciate stuffing at all. I don't like it.
Well, do you stuff it in the turkey?
No. It's, she makes it up.
That would be dressing, cornbread dressing.
I don't know if it's cornbread, though, but her dressing is just
I don't know. I don't need it.
So good. So good. But, like, at my mom and dad's house, my mom makes my grandma's old recipe, which I really like it, except for the big chunks of celery. Really like it. But my sister likes stovetop, so we have both. And I like stovetop, too. So you get both of the dressings or stuffings or whatever you want to call it at the Behas, which they're both fire. But then Linda McVeigh's dressing is just out of this world.
Do you have a favorite memory?
My favorite thing about any Thanksgiving is getting up early on Thanksgiving morning and going to the closest gas station and getting a newspaper to get all of the Black Friday ads. It's very different now because you can still do that, which I do.
Yeah.
But all the Black Friday ads are like online now. They have their own app and all that stuff. But I still do that because I like looking through all the ads. I like getting store magazines in the mail too. So I always used to do that with my dad because they would like actually sell out of newspapers on Thanksgiving morning because they didn't used to have all this technology. And so we used to do that. And so I do that. Like we look through it. I'll go through it first because I'm the first one up usually. But my favorite like specific memory was one year we went up north for Thanksgiving, and after we ate, we all went to the WVU game, and it was very cold, like crazy cold. So cold that we had to end up going into the bathroom and standing in front of the heaters.
Oh, the hand dryers?
Yeah. No, they had like these big heaters that would like blow on you. And we just stood there for like the last quarter of the game because it was so cold. But we won. Yay. And this was years ago when we had a great coach. And that was just really fun.
Yeah.
Really liked that.
Those are good memories. So, before we move on to like some Black Friday conversations, I have a couple of questions. Looking back on this past year, what is something that has happened in this past year that you are super, super grateful for?
Oh, no. I'll let you go first, Mr. Talkative.
Oh, man. Well, first of all, I will echo. I do love that Black Friday ad. I don't want it digital.
He's so thankful.
As much as the thing,
No, because most of the times you have to put in your email in and subscribe to a
as
newsletter.
much as technology and stuff is good, in some areas I like those ads. I really do. So I do like going and getting that ad and looking through it all day long because we are big Black Friday shoppers. Like I do love that. Something this past year that I'm super thankful for. I'll just our kids got the opportunity to go to a new school.
Yeah.
And it, as far as I'm concerned, has been one of the biggest blessings
Yeah.
in our family's life. For them to go to a school where they're teaching them about Jesus, and my kids are now excited about the Bible, and I see changes in their conduct and their behavior and their character. And the other day, it was on a Tuesday, which is chapel day.
Yeah.
As we were dropping them off, Landon said, "I'm so excited for school today because we get to go to chapel and learn about Jesus."
Yeah.
That is like a complete change. That's one thing that I'm unbelievably thankful for. I could probably go on and on and on and on, but that one right there.
Yeah, I echo that too, because our kids go to the same school, and just seeing some change, and it's like the work ethic that they're learning too.
Oh, yeah.
Not only on top of like all the biblical stuff that they're getting and the excitement that's being generated from them learning about the Bible, which is fantastic, but like they're teaching the kids this work ethic that you don't typically find in like public schools. It's just like, you're here, you pass. I mean, that's what we felt like the last couple of years with our kids in public school system. But just for them now, it's like we don't even hardly have to tell them what they need to be doing. They understand whenever they get home. They all have homework. They're supposed to be doing this, writing out words, memorizing their scripture, whatever it is. And it's teaching them that, like, to get the grades that they want, because like most of their friends are succeeding in school. Like, they want to be doing what their friends are doing and getting the grades that they're doing. So they're working hard at it to be up there and recognized for their hard work. They see it, like, it's celebrated.
Yeah.
The hard work is celebrated. So they want to be be known for their hard work as well. So yeah, super appreciative of that. I even told Eric, I was like, if the Hope Scholarship goes away, we're going to find a way for our kids to still go there.
That's how we feel as well. Like, we'll have to figure something out.
Yeah.
It's been that big of a blessing. I would say some relationships that Megan and I have now, new friendships that are like really, really deep and meaningful in our lives, has been really awesome this past year.
Yeah.
I've just seen a lot of...
You stole mine because you... are listing off all these things you're thankful for.
I mean, I was just sitting here because I'm not one of... I don't know. I'm not one of those, like, really, like...
I'm sorry.
Overtly positive, thankful people all the time. But, like, a lot of stuff coming to mind right now. So I will try to be... I'll just let you
thanks.
go.
Thanks. Now
Go
I have
ahead.
to sit here and think of a new one.
You know it popped in my head. Because whenever you were just sitting here thinking all that, I was like, I wonder what else Scott is thankful for. I was like, oh, he doesn't have a dog anymore.
Oh my gosh.
That was the saddest day and happiest day of my life.
It's so odd.
As well. You know, I don't know. There's just...
You don't have to expand on that.
no.
Yeah. No, I'm also thankful. There's a couple things that I'm thankful for. The first one that came to my mind was just that we were able to take some trips this year that, I mean, we try to do it every year, just the two of us. And I remember in a couple of different instances during these trips where, like, I knew it was going to be stormy and rainy, and, like, you know, we're in these tropical areas and it's like not supposed to be like that. And I just remember thinking, like just praying, like, God, you know, I don't ever ask for, like, small things. Can you please just make it sunny? And then I was just reminded in these moments, like, that I get to do this regardless of what the weather's like. He's still protecting us. It's not like, you know, we're going through I don't even know, like a massive wave or something that's going to drown this boat. But we got to do that, and we got to spend time together, and we got to spend time together as a family. And we actually got to go on vacation with my parents and my sister and her family. And that was really cool because we haven't gotten to do that in years. And so even though there was a hurricane in Florida when we were there, it was still like we got to do that. And so I was thankful for those moments, but I'm also very thankful for the friendships that we've created and that have really flourished this year, because it's not just the friendships, the relationships that we have with them. It's what's kind of sparked in their lives, and that is Southridge. And now a lot of them have invited people and are bringing people and attracting people, and it's cool. And it's all, I mean, I don't want to say it's all because, but we started, you know, getting involved in our community in Little League, and really just making sure that we don't just live here, but we truly live here with people. And we do life with people all the time. And so that I'm just thankful for the opportunities that we've had to do that.
Yeah, it's like whenever you look at the church as a whole, like if you look back on the past year, I think one of the craziest things that has happened and still happening is that this past year, it seems like there's just been this crazy desire to understand Jesus and the word more from the church as a whole.
Yeah.
And you see it reflective, like in our small groups, you see it reflected through like the relationships with the friendships that people are having, and people that are wanting to live lives that say, I'm a Christ follower. Would you echo that, like that sentiment, that feeling?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I this year as a church, just to see, like, we have over 20 small groups right now.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the two that I'm a part of, one of them's not even officially a Southridge group, but just those two groups that I'm part of are so unbelievably meaningful to me. And watching people, like last night I had group, and I'm sitting here teaching something that I'm honestly just learning a lot of this myself. And so I'm teaching this thing, and this lady looks across the room at me last night, and she goes, and this is someone that's, you know, she's older than me. Like, you know, I'm 36 as a pastor, which is pretty young.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of the people that we minister to are older than us. And she's like, listen, I've never heard this before. She's like, this is like, she just couldn't believe it. Like, it was like, I've never heard this before, and this is so unbelievably helpful. Like, this is going to change the way that I look at the rest of my life, essentially. That's and, like, just watching her face light up. And I have those moments in these two groups where people are just hungry to learn. You know, even what we're doing on Sundays now. Like, I don't know that our church 5 years ago would have been down with spending 2 months talking about the end times.
Yeah.
I just don't know if they would have.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people would have been like, I'm sorry, this is not.
I'm out.
This is like, and if you just joined Southridge over the last 2 months, you'll, in another 2 weeks, you'll think that the church has completely changed again.
Yeah.
When I go back to more preaching than teaching, because it's been like 2 months of, really it's been like a whole year worth of, you know, we had the apologetics series that we did right after Easter, which was like really, really heavy, deep, stuff, and then we did that Genesis series where a lot of people were like, "Oh my goodness, I've really missed a lot of this."
It's all been done in such a way that, because I mean, we do this every week. I get to read your sermons.
Yeah.
Before we put them into the computer for them to be slides, but also just because let's be real, I need things presented to me in layman's terms, because I joked that I was going to get him a mug that had all these really big words on it that he's tried to use, and I'm like, please don't use that because I don't even know what that means. But so that people like me can understand, even if we don't have much of an interest.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that the difference has been that it's been presented in such a way that someone like me can understand, and also say, I can see why someone would be concerned about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, just seeing that sort of hunger, like the conversations and comments that I've got from people about what we've been teaching this year, that I don't know that the church would have tolerated back maybe pre-COVID, where people, like, they want short, topical sermon series.
Yeah.
And now I feel like our church is moving in a direction. It's like, no. I want to understand
Want
the
meat
word.
and potatoes.
Like, yeah. Like,
No
I
apps.
feel that shift headed that way. I see that in our groups, like with the hunger that people have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, me and you have been part of a Bible study for almost 2 years now of grown men that have all the amount of stuff that we have to do sitting around that table.
Yeah.
You know, you got business owners, you got
Yeah.
people that own multiple businesses, you've got pastors, you've got people that are constantly working out of town, and all of the, like,
Sometimes police officers. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
all of us have kids. You know, like, just we could have any excuse in the world, and to see at least 3, 4, 5, 6 men in their 20s and 30s show up every single Wednesday morning at 6:30 to talk about the Bible. Like, you know, we might shoot the breeze for like 15 minutes, but then it's like we're actually learning the Bible.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, it's some good conversation for
It's-
sure.
to see that, I'm like, I don't know. I've never been around a group of guys that hungry to learn the word, and as the one that's kind of leading it like makes me like. It makes me have to go that extra mile to make sure that I'm learning and staying ahead of a church that is this hungry. You know, so like I feel like this year, because of where, you know, the fact that we are trying to take our church deeper. Like, I even feel like a lot of my week has changed to where, like, sermon prep for me since after Easter has almost doubled, especially in the current series we're in right now. But it's like, that's worth it to me every time I have a conversation on Sunday where someone comes up and goes like, you've unlocked something that I did not know, but not just like a knowledge thing, but like this actually matters for my life. Like, that right there is what I'm seeing on that aspect. Our church isn't numerically back to where it was before COVID, but that's never been the thing that I've ever really cared much about.
But
Yeah.
spiritually speaking,
Like, all I ever want to know as a pastor is that what I'm doing, what I'm giving up my life for, actually matters.
Yeah.
Right? I don't care how many people come. I'm dead serious. Like, so if you're coming, you're not getting anything out of it, you should go somewhere else, or you should spend your Sunday morning in any other way possible, right? Don't waste your time with us if it's not doing anything for you. But like, for me, that's all I care about is when I'm dead and gone, you guys can all have access to my prayer journals. You will see when I write about my preaching, all I'm concerned with is making sure that it's helpful to somebody.
Yeah.
And so, no, our church isn't, like, you know, back before COVID, I would have been really frustrated with, you know, watching the numbers as they've been this year. Like, we went through a summer this year like I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And that would, like, destroy me pre-COVID. Like, oh, my goodness, I cannot believe that there's only, you know, 270 people at church this weekend or whatever it was. You know, there was some times this year that we've had a swing of 200 people from one Sunday to another.
Yeah.
200 people. That's like, that's like, most churches never even get 200 people. We had like a 200 person swing in 1 week. So it was so hard. Like, but what COVID helped cure for me is I'm just trying to be helpful, and it's resonating with people. as we're seeing, baptisms around here, people that are serving, giving, and getting in groups is the fruit that lets me know, like, we're tapping into something.
Yeah.
We may not end up being the biggest numerical church around, but I'm not certain that it matters. As long as we're making disciples that make a difference.
Yeah, and we see that people are going public with their faith.
Yeah,
through water baptism, which I think is, because that's a sign that of salvation, which is the pinnacle in my book is salvation. Is someone saying, I'm giving up everything in my life and what I thought was true, and I'm going to rely and put my faith in Jesus. Like, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so what I've seen at our church this year, I could not be more thankful for in every possible way. Even though, I mean, the first, 9 months, really, we were still reeling from COVID type stuff. You had the first part of the year, and, people were still just very slowly. I know it seems like forever ago. We're just very slowly coming back to church.
Yeah.
Easter hit, and it looked like things were going to, like, shoot off like a rocket. From that point, because there were some, like, really, really strong weeks in there after Easter, and then summer hit, and it was like, oh my goodness, do we need to close the church during summer? Like, nobody's here.
Yeah.
We're like, well, good Lord, I hope they come back after summer.
Yeah.
And they have, and so it's been a kind of weird year like that, but, like, we're seeing in the midst of all of that, seeing so much fruit in people's lives.
Yeah.
People asking questions, and, I mean, the book that my book club's going through right now, I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's deep. It's heavy. And these people are showing up every single week ready to talk about it, and they're just hungry for it. And I see that everywhere I look here at our church.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm blown away at what I believe is going to be a really spiritually deep and strong church, regardless of how many of us there is.
Yeah. Yep. I'm excited, and I'm just super proud to be a part of it. Super humbled to be a part of it too. Last question. What is one person you've never thanked for their contribution to your life, but if you had a moment right now, you would like to say thank you?
You going to go first?
I'm going to have to think about that one.
The first name that popped in my head, I've told that story about that guy that used to pick me up for church in college.
Yeah.
I still need to find that guy and say thank you to him, because he has no idea, like, the impact he left on me. Like, and I thought when I preached about that a couple months ago that I was, like, going to go find that guy's name, and I never did. But I really, really need to, because that guy, his name's Chris. That's all I know. He used to be part of a church plant in Morgantown, and he made a huge impact on my life, even though probably in that moment it would be one of those situations where if you were doing what he did for me to someone, you'd be like, this is a complete waste of time. Like, this guy, it was like there was no discernible change in me whatsoever. There was no interest in God or church or anything.
Yeah.
So for someone, it might, and that might just be a word for somebody right now. You may be in that situation with somebody, and that guy has no idea, maybe even to this day, that somebody that he gave a ride to church like 3 times and just showed kindness to is now a pastor leading people to Christ. And he was one of the first movements back towards God that I had in my life. So I do have to find that guy.
Yeah. You need to add it, put it in your phone.
I know.
Put it as a task. Assign it to yourself.
I would say, and let me preface this by saying I have thanked him for other things in my life. But in this way, I don't think I've ever told him thank you, and it's my dad. Because as a teenager, I was not a Christian. I mean, that desire was there, but I don't think for the right reasons. But knowing that I wasn't following God, knowing who my friends were, the people that I had interest in, the hobbies that I had interest in, like, one of the things that I will never forget and it's every single time it happened. I would have friends over. Didn't matter who they were. They were from church. They were from school. Didn't like. I even had this guy take me out on a date one time. Super questionable.
I want his name.
Super questionable dude. And it wasn't you. But you were questionable at times.
I'd have definitely fit that bill at that time.
No, this was when I was in high school, and like my dad was just so kind.
Yeah.
And compassionate towards all of it. Like carried conversations. I mean, you know, my dad, he's great at conversations, but carried conversations with them, was nice to them, was welcoming into our home. You know, tried to be their friend. Yeah. And I mean, you know, that's just who my dad is. But as a parent now, even my kids are 8 and 9 years old, and there are people I'm like, you are not hanging out with that person. They are not coming over. But like, I have to, like, I look back at the way that my dad did things, and I'm like, you know what? It didn't matter who I brought.
Yeah.
It did not matter. And because he did that, it really shaped how I saw a true Christian. Mm-hmm. And honestly, there were other things that he did too that, like, he was just a really good example of a faithful Christian in my life. Like, without actually, like, pounding it into me. Yeah. Just showing that's who he was. That wasn't what he did. That's who he was a Christ follower. And honestly, I've never thanked him for that, but that was something that I watched all the years growing up and living at home, and just like even the times that I screwed up in Morgantown, living there, and, you know, calling and asking for Dad's help. I mean, he did it. And not that he was like, you know, he wasn't like enabling anything, but it was just, he did it with, I don't know, with faith that I would eventually find my way back to common sense and the Lord and all that stuff. And that could have gone a million different ways, but he was a follower of Jesus. Yeah.
There was a pastor that was on staff at the first church that I worked at. And he's an older guy. If he listens to this, he'll laugh. But he's an older guy, a couple years younger than my folks. But he was just always, like, his door was always open anytime I ever had a question about. And God Almighty, did I have questions? You know, it's just your first time in ministry. You're like, okay, like, this and this, what about this, and how should I go about this, and can you show me this? And it just, like, everything. And never once did he ever get frustrated with me. Did he ever say that he didn't have time? Like, he always made time to kind of get me pointed in the right direction, because I mean, I hadn't even gone to Bible school or anything, or even had any form of credentials before I was given my first, like, job at a church. And it was just so super, like, critical that I had someone just answer questions and just kind of get me, like, just to show me the part of ministry that not everybody else sees. Because there are extremely difficult days for us in ministry, just because we help a lot of hurting people. You know, we try to just be examples and just everything that goes with being a pastor. But he gave me the time of day, and I don't know if he is gonna listen to this. He'll probably hear it because my mom will probably share it with him. But Pastor Mike, I love you. Thank you so much for investing so much, and just being an example of Jesus in my life, and just always having that open door policy. And one of these days we're gonna raise enough money for you to grow up. He's a little tiny guy. He's about the same height as Pastor Cheryl. He's like 5'3" or something, but we always give him the rib. He's not 5'3". He says he's like 5'5", but he's tiny.
That's not much shorter than me, so
you're tiny too.
Eek.
But
Awkward.
Alrighty.
Let's
I don't
get
even
the-
know. I don't even know if we have time for. No, we don't.
No, we're just gonna do the
Oh, Black Friday.
worst part.
Go Black Friday shopping.
What are you thankful for? The left hand or the right hand?
Right hand.
You know what would make me most thankful is if I didn't have to do the mystery meat.
We're still doing it. It's the best part of the show sometimes.
Uh,
Not the best part of the show, but it's the.
We don't have
it's
time
the
to talk
random.
about Black Friday because you talk too much.
Ooh.
I talk for a living. I can't.
Oh, then
fix
talk to
it.
me.
How long do you think you'd survive in a zombie apocalypse?
Oh my gosh. So
The
I
whole
compare
time.
it. Yeah, totally. I compare it to how long I last in Fortnite. And I have a really good strategy. And I always get the victory.
I don't think video games translates over to like a real life situation.
Zombie apocalypse equals
I
a
would
real life situation.
Probably
If
not
it was
make
real.
it long.
If Fortnite was real,
So I think upon further review, I misspoke. I probably wouldn't make it that long because I'm thinking zombie apocalypse. You probably need to be a
No
pretty rugged.
electricity.
Yeah, like you need to be pretty handy. You need to be good with weapons. You need to be tough. None of that describes me. So honestly, I'm saying if I saw the herd coming, I'd probably just run to them and get it over with.
not me.
Just because I don't have like.
I'd run.
I mean, I don't even know how to load a gun. Like, so,
I feel so protected.
and, you know, if restaurants weren't open, how am I going to eat? Like, I'm not going to eat like a can of beans or something just off. No, I would just give up.
You have never been really hungry.
Probably not.
Well,
but,
do you
like,
know?
I
You
would just
probably
give
don't
up.
even know how to open a can of beans without a can opener, right?
No.
Yeah.
Why would anyone know how to do that?
I know how to do that.
That's silly.
If I tried to do that, I would cut myself. At that point, I should just go be a zombie.
I can open a can of whatever you want with a spoon, and you'll sit there and go, "That is amazing."
And I figure, let me just join them rather than fight them.
Yeah, but if the big horde's coming, there won't be anything left of you to join.
I wouldn't even care.
There's this book I'm gonna get for you, and it's a zombie apocalypse. It's called How to Survive a Zombie Apocalypse, and it's a little quick read. I may have it
zombie.
here. If I don't have it here, I know I've got it at my house.
It's going to have to make up for 36 years of not being very manly. So
Here's my mystery meat. What's your favorite Black Friday deal you've ever gotten?
I don't know.
What?
I don't remember any of the deals I've ever gotten.
Mine are the 2 fuzzy blankets that we have that are king size, and they're amazing from Target. They were $50.
I'd rather talk about zombies than shopping.
I like talking about
Ew.
shopping, but yeah, no, I would definitely not make it long. I don't know that I would want to make it long.
Try to change the
I
subject.
I think I would fare relatively well, depending on if I had enough time to go home and grab stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty rugged in that sense. Like you
I could
got
build
weapons.
something.
Yeah, you can build stuff.
Weapons, plural.
Yeah.
Yes.
You eat
exactly.
rice, so that already
Yeah.
puts you way ahead of me because I imagine you're going to eat a lot of rice during an apocalypse.
I've got like 10
So-
pounds of
You
it.
can't start a fire. The zombies will see it.
Not if you find
I
an
don't know.
abandoned house and you just put it inside the house.
And then the house will catch on fire.
yeah, but
That's
you
the
would at least
perfect.
have your
That's
rice.
that's the perfect getaway. Is they're distracted by this big giant plume of smoke, and then you start running away.
yeah, no,
Come on,
I'm not going to
guys.
make it very
Ugh.
long.
I'm
I
gonna stick
wouldn't
with
even
my
want
Fortnite
to though
strategy.
at that point.
What's that?
I wouldn't even want to make it that long at that point either.
I would. I don't. It would be frustrating though going through if like everybody else that you love.
Do you get to become? I'm not real up on zombies. Do I? Is it like vampires? Like if I get bit by one, do I get to become one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely in on that.
Isn't it like I Am Legend? Will
I would
Smith?
rather be the hunter than the hunted. I'll tell you that
Yeah,
much.
if you get bit or attacked by one of those things, you become one.
Oh yeah, I would join them.
But they have no control, so like if one gets a hold of you, then it's gonna eat until it's done.
Yeah, but I would join them. I would
Yeah.
I would maybe have a contract like, hey, could you take it easy on me? I just want to be one of y'all, right?
Let's try to reason
Leave
They
me
don't
with a
have
very
brains.
unreasonable
Leave
creature.
me largely intact, please.
They don't have brains.
Or if they're like the zombies in the Disney zombie movies, then I would
Then
definitely
they
want to be
don't
a zombie.
attack
Yeah, no.
with their Z-bands.
This is how we end today's episode. We thank everybody for listening. Hey, we thank you.
We'll have to do a whole episode on my love for all things Disney, especially the zombie movies, the first two.
Yeah. Well, we hope that you have all had a wonderful Thanksgiving with your friends and family, and that you actually took some time to be appreciative of all the things that you've been blessed with. But we thank you for being our avid listeners week in and week out. Y'all tolerate us and enjoy the craziness that is the Pastor's Potluck. But we'll see you next week for another episode, and y'all be safe on that Black Friday shopping.
Woot woot.
Thank you so much for listening in with us today. We really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and you can also watch the video version of this on YouTube as well. All you have to do is search up the Pastor's Potluck Podcast. From all of us here, we want to say thank you, and we'll see you next week.